Hey YouTubers, Grimmy here, and this is the video review for the Transformers Prime Dark Energon series. Yeah, and this time I'm actually going to be doing an entire set of figures. Now, back when Transformers Prime first came out, a few years ago, when the RID line hit, Hasbro released a special set of 6 figures, I believe exclusively to Big Bad Toy Store. Now the reason I'm reviewing these years later is because they're still available on Big Bad and they're being clearanced out. So I figured I'd actually give them a review and see how they turned out. But I'm going to do things a little differently. Since this is a special set, I'm going to take a look at the packaging. And as you can see, I got a large amount of the pack. I got all the figures here mint on box still, or mint in card. But yeah, you got Knockout, Megatron, Starscream, Bumblebee, Optimus, and Wheeljack. As you can see, the boxes are a bit of an inverse of what the usual RID figures were. For example, we'll take Bumblebee here and compare it to RID RC. Now the box shapes are the same, but the colors are completely different. Instead of the usual red and white, they go for a black and purple, which is a real nice looking packaging. And I do appreciate they make special packaging for these figures. It really helps set them out and make them look a little more unique. But yeah, I just wanted to touch on that. I don't have any of the Voyagers mint on box for this particular line anymore, but yeah, as you can see, the boxes are looking pretty good. The backs look pretty much the same as the usual figures. Same here, you can see with Bumblebee, still the same white background as before. It's just that the detailing is in purple instead of red. All in all, like I said, I think it's a nice touch. But we're not here to look at packaging. So it's time to break these guys out and see how they turned out. Okay, now that we got these guys out of the packaging, I think it's worth noting that I have reviewed each of these molds in the past. I've actually reviewed the Japanese versions of the regular figures, and in some cases other characters that use the same mold. Well, in most cases, actually. But yeah, we got Knockout in seemingly wasp colors. If you watched animated Waspinator before, he actually became Waspinator, was known as Wasp, and he used similar colors to this. So I guess this is supposed to be a Wasp homage, but it is a nice translucent green. Most of these guys are actually made in mostly translucent plastic, with the exception of Megatron, who actually has more opaque colors. But yeah, you got a nice green and purple look here. Really stands out. Really nice Decepticon cross symbol here on the hood of the car, and you got some Decepticon symbols on the sides as well, which really looks good. Get another look at that con logo on the front, and that translucent color really makes him glow too. I love it. Next up is Starscream, who's obviously homaging Skywarp. Oh, before we do this, I should actually run a comparison between RID Knockout, who has Rebel labels on him, and this Dark Energon version. But yeah, I mean, main differences are in the colors. Let's see, we'll get this a little more light on the subject. But yeah, and same mold, different colors. This one's been painted up, repro labeled, designed to really bring out the show accurate look. But other than that, yeah, I mean, I like this Dark Energon version pretty much. But okay. Now we're going to look at Starscream. Like I said, he's homaging Skywarp, obviously. So you got the black and purple. And yeah, you got a nice translucent smoky gray plastic. Really shows on the wings. Most of the jet is made of it though. So yeah, it just shows more in the wings because the purple is not translucent. It's got like a nice sparkle to it, shine to it. It has a bit of a metal flake effect. Doesn't show too well, but it's there. Yeah, but he is really nice looking. Yeah, for the comparisons, we'll bring in first edition Starscream, who was the original for the mold. As you can see, they do compare pretty well together. And, you know what? Since Takara did a version of Skywarp, and this guy really does give the vibe of him, let's compare him with Skywarp. As you can see, the black is mostly all in the right place. They did make some differences in the color choices for the legs. Starscream has purple legs, while Skywarp actually has black legs, which is okay with me. Nose cones are different colors. But other than that, they're pretty close. Oh yeah, and Dark Energon Scream doesn't have the silver chest. Okay. Yeah, I mean, so it's nice. It's definitely a nice figure. Kind of like a mid-teleportation version, I guess. Okay, so on to Megatron, who has the least amount of translucent plastic of all the characters. As you can see, he is done very nicely. Has this really deep, like bluish gray plastic for most of the body, and also has a very light purple, which is really nice. I especially like the fusion cannon because that bronze that the RID version was using was awful. I like that they made it this nice deep black. For a quick comparison, and sorry to get my arm in the way, here's the Darkness Megatron from Arms Micron. As you can see, there's a very heavy difference in how the colors are. Now, I have painted mine a little bit to get it more show accurate, but there is a significant difference between these two. But yeah, I mean, Megatron really does look good in this color scheme. And next up is Optimus Prime. Now, RID Optimus in nice red translucent plastic with orange windshields. Very neon looking. And this is a very interesting color scheme, and I do like it. You got this really big Autobot symbol on a shield here. Oh, let me see if I can zoom in a little more. But yeah, you got that really nice big Autobot symbol right there. Which is great. I do like that. It has the same problem where the there's a little bit on the sides that don't match up with the rest of the truck. I think that's just the nature of the mold. You know, unless you do that chest piece in the red translucent plastic, it wouldn't match up no matter what you did. But yeah, it's a real nice one. You got the RID weapons here. Again, in that transparent orange, which really looks nice. And I'm going to zoom out because I don't need to be in all the way anymore. But yeah, you got this very light blue, which really has an interesting effect in a black grille. Okay, but for a comparison, here's Battle Shield Arms Micron Optimus. Same mold, more Optimus Prime colors, but yeah, there is a very stark difference between the two. Sorry, I don't have the RID Optimus out or RID Megatron, but they're pretty tightly in storage. But anyway, next up is, oh, don't want him in. Okay, there we go. Next up is Bumblebee. Now, Bumblebee's a real nice one because he's homaging his later incarnation, Goldbug. It shows more in robot mode, but you can kind of tell in vehicle mode too, because there is a nice golden sparkle in his translucent plastic. He's got a real cool metal flake effect. Now, unfortunately, mine has a little bit of a cloudy hood. If it zooms in, it focuses. Yeah, you can see there's a bit of a cloudy hood here. I'm not too worried about it. This car mode still looks really awesome. And I do like that translucent golden flaked look. But yeah, now, I don't have the standard RID Bumblebee out, but I do have Shadow Strike Bumblebee, or well, Stealth Armor Bumblebee. I don't know what they called this one anymore. It's the closest thing that we got to the Black Bumblebee. So yeah, same mold. You know, that translucent plastic really does make a difference. And they painted the windshields all around because everything is translucent. Well, this one has translucent windshields with painted top and back. So yeah, there's Bumblebee. And last but not least, we have Wheeljack, who is doing a very good job of homaging the Action Master Slice. Except for this Autobot symbol. Slice was a Decepticon. Yeah. But other than that, yeah, it looks nice. That translucent plastic is a really good one. Nice blue. And he looks very ghostly. I mean, this is a really nice looking vehicle mode. We got that clear red windshield, which looks awesome. All the nice translucent blue, a little metallic blue on the top. And it looks great. And for comparison, well, we gotta bring in Jackie. You got your standard look. And they really do look like two different bots. I mean, you would never guess that these were supposed to be the same character. I think that could be said for all of these guys, except for maybe Optimus and Megatron. But, yeah. Knockout, Skywarp, Starscream. Sorry, it's the color scheme that's throwing me off. Starscream, Bumblebee, and Wheeljack. They definitely look like different characters. I think it would have been better if they named them different characters. But, yeah, I mean, they all look really good, so I love them. But I think it's time we got these guys into robot mode. So why don't I get them all set, and we'll take a look at them there. Okay, now we got these guys in robot mode, and they are very impressive. Okay, I do like them. I'm probably not going to be able to say that enough, but these are great figures. Let's start with Knockout again. As you can see, that green and purple mix really does pop. I mean, he pretty much glows a bit thanks to that translucent green. The purple on the arms looks really good, and it's extended a little bit through the body, and with the darker, like grayish purple at the shins and the head and the shoulder pads. So it's got a nice color scheme to them. And it is pretty sweet. The weapon is just a black piece of plastic, much like the original, or the regular version, I'm sorry, shouldn't say original or anything like that, but yeah, here's Dark Energon Knockout alongside RID Knockout, who is repro labeled. You know, that's like RID Knockout's covered with repro labels to bring out the character a little more, so keep that in mind. As you can see, they do look pretty different from each other. Like, the color schemes really do contrast each other a lot. I kind of wish I had it out right now because, you know, now that I'm thinking about it, Dark Energon Knockout could be like a halfway point between RID and Beast Hunter's Knockout. You know, since the Beast Hunter's Knockout was that crocodile-like version, which was green, like him. So it might have been a nice, if I had them all together, it might have been a nice little reformatting effect. Oh well. We'll try to do that later. Okay. But, yeah. Looks pretty good. Next up would be Star Warp. Yeah, it's Starscream, but you know, he really does look like a Skywarp. Yeah, the paint job is actually pretty nice on him. It does have that Skywarp feel, like I mentioned. Let me get a look at. Well, the head is pretty unique. That is a nice looking paint job on the head, and it does a good job of separating itself from Starscream and Arms Micron Skywarp. Like, we'll bring in Starscream first, and the differences between the two are fairly obvious. But while we're here, we'll bring in Arms Micron Skywarp. Oh. Yeah, this guy always is a little bit tricky to stand, unfortunately. But, yeah, taking a look at his head, you can see they really went a different direction for Dark Energon, which is really nice. I do appreciate that, and really makes it feel worth it to have both. Now, there is a bit of a flaw with some of these. I'm going to try to bring this out a little. And this happened a little bit more on Starscream and Knockout for me, but Starscream is most notable. It's just that the figures have a bit more mold flash on them than normal. So you might need to take an X-Acto knife to them. But, you know, other than that, they really did turn out well, and I'm glad to have them. But I think it's time we get to the big boys real quick. And let's see, here we got Megatron. Really going back to his Shadow Blade days. You know, animated Megatron had a Shadow Blade form which was colored something like this. So this is a nice job of harkening back to that. And the color scheme really does work nicely. As you can see, you got mostly like that bluish black and well, bluish gray, black, purple, and it really does a nice job. I love the plastic choices for the hands. I really wished we got that color for RID. You know, make the hands, kneecaps, feet that color instead of that awful bronze. That would have been great. Now the arms are where most of the translucent plastic is. In fact, almost all of it is in the arms. You got the shoulder pads and forearms that are done in that like darker purple translucent plastic, with the regular purple plastic in the forearms as well. But aside from that, like the shoulder pads and the forearms, and the regular purple plastic in the chest, he doesn't have much in as far as translucents go. Like, he's got the very least amount of translucent plastic of all the Dark Energon figures, which is okay. I mean, he uses it well. This is a great look for the fusion cannon. I like that black. Now his tips are a bit on the loose side, but not drastically so. So anyway, for a comparison, we're going to put Megatron with Megatron Darkness from Arms Micron, which was pretty much the Megatron mold with a Micron and a lot of chrome. And again, the differences are night and day, which really helps Megatron, like the Dark Energon Megatron, stand out. And that is something that's pretty much a theme with these guys. The Dark Energon figures really can stand out in a collection. They got those 90s gaudy colors in most cases. The translucent plastic is done beautifully. and they pretty much really look good. So we're going to get Megatron out of the way and get to Optimus Prime, who has one of the biggest differences out of any of these guys, and that is a new head. Yeah. Dark Energon Prime has the maskless Optimus head. None of the regular Optimus figures had that. This is the only one that has the maskless version. So this, you can tell this one's going to make people very excited to have it, just for that face. And some of them are going to pull back because he is colored so strangely. I mean, this is a really gaudy color scheme, and I love it. It is crazy. I mean, it is definitely 90s style, and it is gorgeous. And all that translucent plastic in the arms. You got it on the chest, on his back. And this is a really nice Optimus Prime. It is one that will stand out from all the others so easily. Because I don't think they've made an Optimus this outrageously colored. I could be wrong, but I don't believe that they have. I mean, they've made black versions, they've made gray, dead versions. You know, you got your Magnuses. I mean, yeah, this is probably the craziest Optimus out there. Oh yeah, you also got your shattered glass purple ones. But yeah, this is crazier than all those. Let's get him with Arms Micron Battle Shield Optimus, who's more traditional. But he doesn't pop nearly as much as the Dark Energon Optimus Prime. So, yeah, this is a really cool version of Optimus. And, like I said, I adore it. Now, next up is Bumblebee. And as I mentioned before, Bumblebee is based off of Goldbug this time. So, you know, he's got the color scheme that you would associate with Goldbug. I mean, the translucent yellow is a nice golden tint. Has a lot of sparkle to it, which is real sweet. You got the blue for the arms and legs, the blue for the head. I mean, yeah, this is a really nice Goldbug figure. So if you want a prime Goldbug, here you go. Just to really bring the point home, I guess, we're gonna bring in the new generation's Goldfire. As you can see, you got some similarities. Sorry, my camera's a little loose on the tripod. But, yeah, while he's a lighter blue, you can definitely see that he's got the same blue and gold and color scheme. So yeah, this is definitely a nice Prime versus Goldbug. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Get Goldfire out of the way, and we'll bring in the Stealth Bumblebee. As you can see, the molds are pretty much the same, you know. The guns, you can actually have him hold in his hand or be on the arms, like the RID version. whichever you choose. I do like the Dark Energon color scheme. I like the Goldbug homage. It is a real sweet way to do it. And I think Hasbro really did a good job with these, and I'm surprised they haven't sold out. But yeah, they're available on clearance, so if you want them, you can get them. At least at the time of this recording. But last but not least, here's my favorite of this group, and that is Wheeljack. And he don't look much like an Autobot, does he? I mean, he's got glowy red eyes. Let's get in that face. You can see those glowy red eyes. That deep blue. You can see the red from his windshields. And this guy looks mean and nasty and ready to tear you up. And that is awesome. And the only thing that really says Autobot are the Autobot symbols on his arms. And they got that Defender Autobot thing. You know, that was another interesting thing about it. The Autobots got the Autobot symbol with a shield, while the Decepticons got a Decepticon symbol with a like cross on it, or behind it. It's like a pirate symbol, which was awesome. And this has so many cool little things going for it. As you can see, and again, he's based off the Decepticon Action Master Slice, who was a repaint of Action Master Wheeljack. And I don't have that Action Master figure, so I can't do a comparison with that. But we can bring Jackie in and see how they look together. Now this is a mold that, I think this is my 5th version of the mold. Let's see, I got Jackie here, Dead End, Wild Rider, Chrome Dome, and now Dark Energon Jackie. So you've got a lot of options with this mold, which is good because it's a really good one. Highly articulated, a lot of options for posing. You can store the swords in his shoulders. I mean, and that color scheme is really awesome. This guy is getting some Decepticon symbols on his arms as soon as this review's over. I got the repro labels to do so, and I am, because, you know, he's going to be my classic Slice. Hands down, that's all there is to it on that. Now, as I've mentioned quite a few times, this set is still available at Big Bad Toy Store, and it has been clearanced. Like, it's actually 2 sets. The 4 Voyagers, and then the 2, like, not the, I'm sorry, the 4 Deluxes, and the 2 Voyagers. I'm getting all mixed up again, but, yeah, I think the, 4 Deluxes went for $35, or maybe they went for $30, and the Voyagers went for $35. Either way, it's a total of $65 plus shipping. For these 6 figures, I'd say it's worth it. You know, 60 bucks, that's 10, like 65 bucks, that's, what, a little more than $10 a figure. And you're saving a lot. I mean, most times the Deluxes go for 15 while the Voyagers go for 20. So you got, so it'd be 60 for the 4 Deluxes alone. But now you're getting the 2 Voyagers in the mix as well. So, yeah, it's a good deal. course, it's really up to you if it's worth it or not. But I do highly recommend getting these guys. If anybody, at least, if you can only get one, get Wheeljack. That is an awesome paint job. Or Optimus, because he looks really sweet. Yeah, those two are my favorites of the line. Megatron is a good third. B fourth. Well, actually, Knockout fourth. B fifth, and Starscream's gonna get the booby prize. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this little review. And I will see you next time. Until then, feel free to look me up on Twitter at Grimmy's Reviews. Please like, subscribe, comment. I'd like to hear from ya. And I'll catch you on the flip side.